All right, guys. So, welcome to tonight's show. As you can see from the flyer, our show tonight is being sponsored by the Eta Upsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So, thank you so much for your support, ladies. I appreciate it. I thank all of you for tuning in, and we're going to get started in just a minute. All right, guys. So we are starting the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome tonight. My name is Jennifer Connors. I'll be cooking with you guys tonight. So before we start, like I said, this show is being sponsored by the Eta Upsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So we do want to thank them. Their president does have a message that I'll share with you shortly. And in the meantime, just be mindful if you're chatting. We'll go over rules in a minute, but make sure if you're chatting, you're aware that there is a delay. I'm not sure about the delay. Usually it's about 30 seconds. So just be mindful there's a delay. Without any further ado, here is a message from the chapter president.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Horn, President of Eta Upsilon Omega Chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Welcome to Pink Goes Red 2021. Alpha Kappa Alpha continues to raise community awareness of critical health issues that impact African American women. Heart health is one area of focus and commitment in the month of February and beyond through physical fitness activities, nutrition, as well as providing information on heart health. Thank you for those of you who joined us earlier for our physical fitness activity and for the information that was provided on heart health as well as COVID-19. This information can also be found on Eta Upsilon Omega's social media pages. Now, welcome to our next segment entitled Virtual Cooking with the Connors. We will learn how to prepare a delicious heart-healthy meal. Now get your food, your seasonings, your pots and pans, your utensils, and be ready to cook with the Connors. Enjoy and bon appetit.
All right, so we are back and we are cooking with the Connors. So welcome, welcome. I see everybody filling in the virtual chat room. So thank you guys so much again. Like I said, my name is Jennifer Connors. I'll be cooking with you guys tonight, and you are cooking with the Connors. If you have any questions, if you want to book us for a show, if you miss anything, you can always put it in the chat if you're watching live. If not, feel free to email us at the email address that you see on your screen. Connors is spelled with 2 O's, no E's. Thank you very much. So, as we're going through, I do want you guys to like, comment, and subscribe our channel. There's a lot of videos that we are going to drop soon. There's some videos already on the channel. We just started the channel, so check us out and let us know what you think. So before we get into the cooking, I do want to go over some rules, some ground rules. Erle says he's ready. That is my husband. He also cooks. He's going to be in some cooking segments, so shout out to him. Shout out to everybody in the comments. But what I want to do before we kind of get into the cooking and all that, I want to go over some rules, what it is and what it ain't, okay? I just want to set the tone so we have a shared understanding, okay? So this works for us. So I'm going to share the techniques that work for us. They may not work for you. They may work for you. You may find something that's better. That's totally fine. We want you to make this meal your own. We're just sharing our take on it. I also ask that we are all respectful in the comments. My mother is in the comments. My mother-in-law is in the comments. My husband in the comments. Even if you don't care about none of those people, pretend just for the next hour that you do. And let's just be respectful of each other in the comments, right? So I also ask that you guys are concise. So I am, running my own technology, running the videos, running the comments. So I ask that you're concise with your question. If you can't be concise, I totally understand. This cooking segment is going to be broken down into 3 sections. You can always hold it for that, or just email us. Also, just to let you know, there is a delay. I know I mentioned it, but I want people to kind of know it is a delay, about 30-45 seconds. So be mindful of that. And then the last thing, just have fun and chat with us, okay? Just talk to us. We'll talk back. I'll talk back. The people in the comments will talk back to you. And that's just what it is and what it ain't for tonight, okay? So we are cooking a stuffed salmon. We stuffed it with bell peppers, mushrooms, onions, and a little cheddar, so that's our ingredients, that's our recipe, that's the final picture. Make sure if you did not get a copy of the recipe card that you look in the description of this video, okay? There's everything that you need is there. The recipe cards, the ingredients, the nutritional content. Just be mindful you check that out, okay? And then let's look at our ingredients. So for our stuffed salmon, this is what we used. I shop at Aldi. So everything that you see, I guess I probably shouldn't have said that because they didn't, sponsor this video. But anyway, I shopped at a store that rhymes with Waldy, and this is where I got all my ingredients, okay? So the next thing we're going to cook today, we're going to cook 2 items, an entree and a side dish. And the side dish is something that one of my friends, Janelle, made for me last year. Shout out to Janelle. I don't know if she's watching, but it was sweet potato, kale, onions, and peppers. And it was like the best thing ever. So this is what we're making. Those are ingredients. That's our recipe. That's the final picture that we made. So again, check out the description if you do not have a copy of those. And here are our ingredients. So I'm not going to mention the store, but it is a little emblem on my kale bag. But it is what it is, right? So here is our final dish. That was a piece of 4-ounce serving of the stuffed salmon. That was about a cup of the sweet potato and kale and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's what it is. That's what it ain't. That's what we cooking tonight. I ain't got nothing else but that for the good people tonight. So before we get into the video, I want to drop some, information for you. So a lot of people ask, like, okay, if I buy all that stuff, what am I going to, like, how many servings? How much does it cost? Where can I find it? So I kind of want to run over some of the, nutritional content so you guys can know what you're cooking, how much it's going to cost you, how many servings, all that good stuff. So we're going to be using a 4-ounce cut of salmon on each plate. We're going to use about a cup of the sweet potato, kale, onion, pepper hash mixture. And that came out to be about 395 calories per serving for this meal. The salmon was 180 calories for 4 ounces. The cheddar was about 75. The veggies were 80 calories. Sweet potatoes were another 80. And the kale for the whole dish was about, 15 calories. So, give or take. So the salmon we got just under a pound. It was like 0.96 or something like that. We got 4 portions out of that. That salmon was $9.82. We bought a big bag of kale because we freeze it. We save some for lunch, But if you don't want to spend $3 on kale, that's how much that big bag was. You can buy a bunch for like $1. So sweet potatoes, we got a bag of sweet potatoes that were like 8 to 10 in the bag, about the size of your hand, my hand anyway. And that was about $3. The onions, peppers, mushroom, we bought them all separately, but that totaled up to like $5 for produce. We mostly buy our produce fresh. We don't eat it all before it goes bad. However, we do chop, prepare, clean, and freeze it. So that's a tip. If you didn't know, fresh produce sometimes it's cheaper. If you chop, clean it and toss it in the freezer, it's still good. So, all right. We also had some questions from people that don't eat salmon, like, okay, I want to try this dish, but I don't really like salmon, or as my friend Chris says, he doesn't eat the water meat. So for those people that don't subscribe to eating the water meat, try chicken breast. You can get a chicken breast and you can use the same technique, the same season, the same preparation method. You might need to cook it a little longer than the salmon, but it's the same kind of idea, right? So for those people that are allergic to kale, don't like kale, kind of, don't really want to try kale, there are some substitutions for that. Broccoli rabe is one of them. That's kind of like young broccoli, similar to like the broccolini family. And then we have spinach is also a good substitute. This texture is a little more moist. I hate saying that word, but it's a little more slicker than the kale. And then you can also do collards, turnips, mustards in the same way that you're cooking and preparing the kale today. So you don't have to throw in that pig's feet or whatever people put in their collards. I don't subscribe to that. Sorry. Bok choy is another one, or Swiss chard. So just to let you know, if you see my eyes looking, I'm looking to the screen, trying to make sure I don't miss any comments because I want to make sure I'm answering you guys. So just know that. All right. So those are our substitutions. Those are our portions. That is our price. Like I said, we got 4 portions out of this. So this meal costs, let me do the math real quick. 10, 13, 16, 21, 23, 23 divided by 4. It was about under $6 a plate, okay? And that was a pretty, like I said, for $6 a plate, that's a pretty good size, plate. You're going to go to the restaurant, you're going to pay like $25 just because of salmon. Let's just keep it real. So, that's a pretty good per portion price. So if there aren't any questions, I don't see anything. That's what I have is chicken breast because my baby's allergic to fish. I'm sorry, Danica, but I'm glad that you got you some chicken breast. I did pass that tip along to Sora PK before we started this. When I started this channel, I was a pescatarian. I did eat seafood. However, my body just doesn't want to eat seafood anymore. So therefore, I am a vegetarian and I am, walking the line on vegan, but just keep me lifted in prayer out here in these streets. All right. So if there are no other questions, we are going to start the show. All right. We're going to start with the cooking. So let's see. Let's get everything set up over here. And we're going to start with the preparation. Okay. Start with the preparation. All right. And you guys can see we have Will Connors, my husband, he is chopping the cheddar. He'll chop about a half to 3/4 of the chunk of cheddar. So just so you know, we chop a little bit more cheddar because our son loves cheese. So, you may not need as much as we're chopping, but just how he's chopping them in the chunks. Come on with the shout out. Yeah, Chris, we know you don't eat the water meat. You know. So there we go. We are chopping the cheddar. The cheddar is being chopped. I am not Will Connors. However, that is who is chopping. He is our sous chef. He is a director. He also books the talent. So, shout out to Will in these streets, keeping me, working. Then we're going to start with the mushrooms, okay? Will is very particular about how he likes his mushrooms. He likes them very small. He's, he wants them, you know how old people used to say kids or older people, kids should be seen and not heard. That's how he likes his vegetables. Real low key. Seen and not heard. He don't want them all overpowering, the entree. So he's going to chop up the mushrooms. I'm semi-keto and limit my potato consumption. Can you suggest an alternative to sweet potatoes? I surely can, Lisa. I will look up that information and I will get that to Sora PK before the night is over. Yes, Tiffany Frazier. Chris calls it water meat. He's in the comments. Yell at him. It's funny. So, yeah, Jennifer, love the health benefits. Share with the recipe cards anytime. Yes, I love to kind of educate as we are showing people how to do things, why we use it, why it's a good thing to eat. That was something growing up. We didn't get a lot of education on the foods that we ate, the things that we like to eat. So that's something I wanted to share. So, yep, Will is chopping those mushrooms, and he's going to use about half of the mushrooms. What he's going to do, though, he's going to probably chop all of them and then freeze the half. Like I said, we use fresh produce and we freeze it. Fresh to frozen. That's what Aldi says, and they charge you 3 times the price. So you can do your own fresh to frozen at the crib. Listen to me. I will save you some coins out here in these streets, okay? So, Will, you better chop those veggies. I know, right? He's so good at it. So Will does the preparation often because usually one of us has to stay in, looking at our 4-year-old son because he's busy in these streets, okay? So somebody has to be preparing while the other person is kind of filming and keeping an eye on the baby. So we're going to move on to the bell peppers. We use green. However, if you have a preference of color with bell peppers, feel free to use that. He has a vegetable brush, so he's scrubbing. Make sure you get the dirt out of your bell peppers. Do not just chop that thing up. Clean that thing first, then chop it up, okay? So I've been cooking a lot of whole foods since the pandemic. That's amazing, Deborah. That's what we need to do, okay? Because we're going to get that pandemic 25. Nobody wants that, all right? So Will is cutting the bell pepper. As you will notice, he is avoiding to cut that thick, white, hard part in the middle, the stem, some people call it. We don't eat that. So you want to pull that out. You want to cut it out and put it to the side. Now, some people eat it. We don't. I haven't done research on if you eat it, what happened, but I don't want to find out either. So I just cut it and move it out. That's what my mama taught me. And that's what we do in this house. That's what works. Again, this is what works for us. So again, Will is going to cut those veggies very small. Again, he wants those veggies seen and not heard. You don't want chunks so big where you have to worry if they've cooked all the way through and they're overpowering the other flavors of the dish. Plus, if you have big chunks, you got to use more and then the recipe gets all out of proportion. You don't want to deal with that, right? So I was pescatarian for 3 years, and then, I caved for some chicken, but I'm having that icky meat feeling again, so I might be going back. Come on back to the pescatarian side, Jazzy. Me personally, I'm like on the fence, and I'm there, and I'm not there, but I don't really know. My body just doesn't want seafood anymore. Please take pictures of your prep and final production and send to Sora Angel Miller Burrell. I think that's for the Soras in the chat, so... Okay, so we are still cutting the bell peppers. Again, you see he is discarding the pieces we do not want to cook, and he is chopping down those bell peppers to his liking. Know that we do not use professional, don't chop like a professional chef or anything. We are just regular people, parents who like to cook healthy foods and make sure that the pieces of our vegetables are what? Seen and not heard. All right. So let's see. He is still cutting the vegetables. He is making sure that they are tiny, 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 which I can appreciate. And then he's going to cut the onion. So again, we're not going to use this entire onion. However, we are going to freeze what we don't use and use what we need. So as you see, he is cutting, and then he was like, oh, got to go back and peel this paper. Do not cut and serve an onion raw with that paper on it, okay? We do not want the paper to the onion in our meals. It's disgusting, okay? It's disgusting. I use the chop wizard in the kitchen. I'm not that good. All right, Nika, I hope I did not mess up your name. And then you have the link to the veggie brush. I'm sorry, PK, but we are not advertising for people that did not sponsor this show, so they will not get a link. However, the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Eta Upsilon Omega chapter, did sponsor this show. So shout out to them. That's the only link we can provide, but you can text me later, PK. I will find where Will bought the veggie brush. All of the cool kitchen gadgets are purchased by my husband. He is like a health communications major. Food and presentation and visuals is like his thing. That's his specialty. So he has all the kitchen stuff. So he is now peeling our sweet potatoes. He bought a nice peeler. If you don't have a nice peeler for sweet potatoes and you try to do this with a knife, I pray for your carpal tunnel, because it is not what is up in these streets. It is very annoying to peel a sweet potato without a proper peeler. So running underwater does make it seem to go faster. I don't know if that's true, but again, that's what works for us, okay? And it looks like Will is going to send you the link to the veggie brush, okay? And somebody said Amazon has one. I understand. They probably do. So let's see. We got some comments that are being held up. Not sure why. But I just got them through for you, Ramenta. So he is, again, peeling the sweet potatoes under the water. To me, it's a twofold. You're peeling them, it goes a little faster. You're cleaning them at the same time. So it's a win-win, especially while we dealing, with the Rona and, this whole Ponder replay that the world is in right now. So, yeah, so he's still peeling the potatoes. I think he's going to peel, we have 4, and he's going to peel all 4. But for this recipe, we only use 2. So for the sweet potato, make sure that you chop this and slice this very thin. You do not want thick chunks of sweet potato. Sweet potato is very dense, and it takes a while to cook, but I'm going to show you a shortcut to lessen your cooking time. When we started cooking, the food was ready in about 35-40 minutes from the time we started. So and that was with the shortcut I'll show you on sweet potatoes. So he's cutting them real tiny. Yes, the potato peeler must have kitchen gadget. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So we are cutting the potatoes. He's getting them really small. Not because he likes these. Seen and not heard, we like big chunks of sweet potatoes normally. However, we want to make sure that our sweet potatoes, when we eat them, they are done. That is what is most important, that they're done, okay? So he's still going to cut. Like I said, he's going to cut about two sweet potatoes, and then we'll see what we have going on out here, right? So let's see what we're talking about in the comments. Nothing right now. That's cool with me. Yes, sponsor me. Yes, come on, Jazzy P. You better claim that for me. Sponsor me in these streets. We need to get some new kitchen gadgets to try out. I mean, stuff is new, but we want newer stuff. We want to try out some new stuff out here. So, yeah. Still cutting those potatoes. Will is taking his time. And if you notice, Will is wearing gloves. We do not normally cook when it's just me and him with gloves on, because we're the only ones eating. However, with these meals, through these sponsored shows, we usually just donate to whomever, one of our friends, somebody that we know is celebrating a special date night. And we just say, hey, we cooked you dinner or whatever. This is what it is. If you are able to record a live reaction, that would be great. So that's what it is. So So here is the chopped cups of our bell pepper and our mushrooms. I got those cups from one of those kitchen people, the kitchen people, Pamper Chef. And so that's the onion, just a, small little, I think that's about 2 ounces. And then it's about a half a bowl of sweet potatoes. That's 2 sweet potatoes, chopped, peel, and all that, right? So he is making that look too easy. I know he makes it look easy and I struggle. So that is our first video. That's our first segment. Are there any questions on what we're doing? Are there any questions that's something you may have missed? Yes, Leslie Fox, he makes the veggie chopping look very easy. What I was saying, that we do donate our meals to people from this show just to kind of like share with them, just to have other people other than us tell us their thoughts on the dishes and things like that. So we usually share our live reactions. We'll see what we have from this dish that we can share. So I don't see any questions. Like I said, I know there's a delay, so I'll kind of wait a few minutes. But if not, we'll just kind of set up for the next segment. That was your whole preparation. That was everything that Will normally does. And then we're going to go into the cooking. So 1 segment down and 2 to go. In the meantime, I did want to touch on some of the nutritional facts for the things we saw, right? So you saw Will cutting up the cheddar in the blocks, right? So there are some health benefits, heart-centered health benefits for cheddar. There's a lower risk of developing coronary heart disease. You're less likely to have a stroke versus a non-cheese eater. So yeah, it's something, something I didn't even know about cheddar. Cheddar is also rich in protein and calcium, and it's a very good source of vitamin K, especially vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is very strong in the heart and the bone health. So because it is, pink goes red, it's a heart healthy event, I wanted to make sure that my nutritional benefits were tweaked to the heart and making sure we were heart healthy. So I just got a message asking me, was my son Willie gonna make an appearance? You never know. Stay tuned. You never know. So that's cheddar. We're gonna move on and talk about mushrooms, right? So mushrooms, they are one of the few vegan sources of vitamin D, full of fiber. They are low in fat. They support heart health as well. They strengthen your memory. So I'm always eating mushrooms because, I don't know, after having a kid, my memory is shot to sugar, okay? And then they also help reduce wrinkles. So, nobody wants to be wrinkly out here. So just, grab you some mushrooms and tell me how that goes. We're also going to talk about the health benefits of bell peppers. Bell peppers are full of potassium. They're great for your skin. They're great for your hair. I eat bell peppers often. I can count on one hand how many breakouts I've had on my face, honestly. They are packed with folate. That is another anti-aging mineral. They are full of fiber and vitamins A and C, as well as iron, right? And then we also have yellow onion. You saw Will chopping the yellow onion. They contain cancer-fighting compounds. There's so many studies on the health benefits of just eating onions, period. Onions also have plenty of antibacterial properties. I wish we could just rub an onion on the world and get out of this ponder replay / pizza party of coronavirus. And yellow onion also enhances the elasticity of your blood vessels. So there's also one more, the sweet potatoes. We saw Will cut the sweet potatoes. They are rich in potassium, great for heart health. So the young lady who mentioned she wanted to kind of cut out potatoes and find something, I'm going to try to find you a substitute for sweet potatoes that gives you the same amount of health benefits. So they are high in potassium, and you get more sodium from a sweet potato, which helps lower your blood pressure, which in the end reduce your risk for heart disease. There's so many studies out there about that, right? So, and also sweet potatoes support the healthy vision, and they're very nutritious. So, hello, Sora, is there a reference site for health benefits for further searching? Actually, Stacy, I do all of my research independently. I look up a lot of medical journals, food nutritional sites, and I just compile some of the things that kind of stick out to me. So I don't have a site, just one site, but it's just kind of like me and Google in these streets researching. Wow, I never knew that about mushrooms, bell peppers, or yellow onion. What else is in here? LOL, pizza party. I'm using that. Yes, Alana. I can't say the other word that we're in. It rhymes with mandemic. I don't want to say that. So to make myself entertainment and joy, it is anything but. It's a panini. It's a panda replay. It's a pizza party. It's a panorama. Panorama. It's anything but what it really is. Okay, so. Let's see. Onions are amazing. Yes, they are. Sweet potatoes are also good for people with type 2 diabetes, which is a risk factor for heart disease. You better come on and drop some knowledge in the comments, Janae Alexander. Come on. And it looks like Will put the veggie brush link above. Will, we are not sponsored by Amazon, so I'm going to ask you to refrain from that, sir. Thank you, kind gentlemen. My sister Anna said butternut squash can be substituted for sweet potatoes. And that's good. I'm glad you guys are, getting along well in the virtual chat streets out here. So if there's no other questions, no other comments, we're going to move on to segment 2. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yep, I think I got everything. So we're going to move on to segment 2. Segment 2 is going to touch on getting our salmon prepped and ready. All right. There we go. We are working on the stuffed salmon. The first thing we're going to do is take a little bit of liquid aminos, and that is a salt alternative. I don't really cook with a lot of salt anymore. We'll talk about the health benefits of liquid aminos. Take about half of your onions, toss them in. And Janae is a public health major. PK just told me that. Thank you, girl. So she knows what she's talking about, okay? So half of the bell peppers, right? And we're going to go half of the bell peppers out of the cup. And then we're going to go half of the mushrooms. Or no, all the mushrooms, sorry. So this is the stuffed salmon. There's no mushrooms in the sweet potatoes. You can put them in there, but we didn't do it for that one. So all of the vegetables are in our new nonstick pans that my husband bought me, and he bought me plastic utensils so I won't mess them up. Shout out to Will. So then we're going to take the vegetables, and then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of onion powder until the ancestors say stop. We'll sprinkle a little garlic powder. And people ask me to measure, but I usually just smell, and it can smell like too much or not enough. But usually the ancestors are like, Jennifer, a little more. Jennifer, pull it back. That's too much, right? So I'm late to eating sweet potatoes, but I'm here for them. Yes, try them out. I didn't really care for sweet potatoes before I cooked them in the savory way, to be honest. So then we're going to take our salmon, and that's the size salmon we got 4 portions out of. I just want you to be mindful. Liquid aminos is a great substitute for soy sauce. It's also a great substitute for salt, period, just to let you know. So we still use seasoned salt, in these streets, but usually it's liquid aminos. So we're going to get our salmon out of the packet. We're going to rinse it off. I think when salmon comes out, it has like a slimy feel to it. Just rinse it till you don't feel it, feeling slimy anymore. So make sure you rinse it in cool water. My mother will appreciate that. Do not rinse the salmon in warm or hot water. Then we're going to give it a salt bath, okay? Salt bath is just straight up iodized salt. We sprinkle it on both sides, and we rub the salt into the fish, front and back. So you kind of like, when you wash your hands, it's like you're washing your hands, but you have salmon in the middle of it. And you're going to rub the salt in. And what the salt bath does, it gets out the impurities. It kind of cleans our salmon at a next level, because we don't know how long this fish has been sitting in the store. it's a whole panoramic out here. We do not know. So you want to clean the salmon and the fish and the seafood and the chicken, and anything can take a salt bath, and just clean it. Make sure you thoroughly rinse off your salt. Otherwise, you will have salty mess, okay? So after that, we're going to take a cut. We're going to go to the thick side of the salmon. We're going to cut a pocket into the salmon. So I think Will's going to zoom in on that in a minute. And he's going to cut a pocket into the thick part. So we got our, our really good sharp knife. And we cut a nice thick little pocket in that thing, and we just want to make the pocket about this size, right? You can make it bigger, but for that size of the salmon, this is a good size, about the length of all your fingers put together. And then I put my hand in there just to make sure that that's a clean cut. It's deep enough, it'll hold what I'm about to stuff it with, right? Exactly, Tiffany. You can never have too much onion and garlic pepper, okay? No, liquid aminos is not a replacement for cooking with oil. We'll touch on that in a minute, Manietta. What's in the skillet? Please review the items. I think I already did, Stacy, so I apologize. Y'all, catch her up in the comments for me if you could, or I'll catch you on the break. We're going to season our salmon with seasoned salt, not seasoning salt. Y'all, come on, let's call a thing. As Iyanla would say, seasoned salt. And then we're going to make sure we season the outside of the salmon generously, not too much. And then we're going to make sure we season the pocket of the salmon. So where we just did the cut, we want to season both pieces, right? Then we're going to take a little bit of Italian seasoning, and then Italian herb seasoning, and we'll kind of rub it into the top of the salmon. Again, putting a little bit in the pocket of the salmon. And we'll just kind of rub that in, right? Rub it in, kind of make sure the pocket has the seasons well distributed. Kind of put our hand in the pocket, rub it in there. That is onion powder. I must have missed that. So yeah, onion powder on the salmon. And then, of course, wherever we put it on the outside, we put it in that pocket as well, right? Let's see. I can only find coconut aminos. Is there another section of grocery store where I can find aminos? Meyer sells it. Kroger sells it. I should not be selling these people's names because they ain't give me no money. But I know that you can find it. I will reach out to you or send some stuff to Patricia or put it in the chat later of where you can find that, right? Yes, it is in the salad dressing. I went to the K store. You better come on, Lisa. You better catch on and do. Yes. Lisa, we here. So with the black pepper, we use crushed black peppercorns. We kind of just sprinkle it on our hand, rub it on the salmon, and then I use a little Old Bay. So for people that really like seafood, Old Bay is good. It gives it a nice color to me. It doesn't have a huge big taste to me, but I'm sure people from Baltimore will probably disagree with me. However, we're just gonna rub the Old Bay in there, and then we're gonna open our pocket, show you how big that is, and we're gonna start to layer cheese on the bottom. So we put like 3 of those little pieces that we'll cut in our first segment. We put them in there. And then you kind of just want to make sure the bottom has a nice layer of cheese. Grab our sauteed vegetables that we just did, and we want to stuff them right on top of the cheese, right? So just stuff them in there, kind of pack it in there. They're cooked, so you don't have to worry about, oh, if I pack them, they won't cook. That's why we cook them. Stuff as much vegetables as you can get in that thing, okay? Then we're going to take cheese and put it on top of the vegetables. And we're going to just make sure that that pocket is kind of well filled out. So once we put in the cheese, once we put in the vegetables, we kind of go back through and just kind of clean it up and put some stuff in there. Aminos is similar to soy sauce, but better. Thanks, Will. I appreciate it. So, yeah, we're going to just stuff the pocket of the salmon. I'm probably going to add some more vegetables because that doesn't look packed enough for me. But yep, I know I did. Yep, I'm adding some more vegetables. We want to just kind of pack it in there and just make sure that that salmon pocket is filled out. Okay, we have a nice size pocket, so we want to make sure we take advantage. And it's vegetables. You can't go wrong with vegetables. I mean, the cheese I did weigh out, so I'm not going crazy there. But those vegetables, just, keep packing them in there. Keep packing them in there until, the ancestors say, enough, my child. So this is our final version before it goes in the oven. You know, it looks good. It looks great. That is a picture of it. That is the top of it. That's what it looks like. Then we're going to just take this salmon. Be careful because you have packed that thing. So you don't want it to fall apart. Pick it up, grab it by the bottom, and put it in a oven safe dish. It can be a cookie sheet as well that is foil lined because the grease will run, okay? Put it in a foil lined sheet that is oven safe, whether it's container or cooking dish. And then I got excited, so I put them vegetables right on top. I put them right on top of the salmon. It didn't look aesthetically pleasing, I'm sure, but it was so good. And I really like vegetables. To me, that's the holy trinity of vegetables right there. You know, mushrooms, green peppers, and onions. You know, you can't go wrong with that thing right there. You know, so then, and then I got real extra right here. I put a little cheese on top. You do not have to do this. This is included in the calories, okay? But you don't have to do that. You don't have to, you know, go down that dark road and put cheese on top of the salmon. Don't do it. It was good, but don't do it. Okay, it doesn't, and I'm saying don't do it just because I didn't like the look of it, but it is delicious. Going to the M store tomorrow. Come on, Lisa. See, Lisa. Oh, if I'm ever in Saginaw, I'm bringing Lisa some meals, okay? So that is our final product. Everything's on top. We heat our oven to 350 degrees per the recipe. And then we toss it in there for about 30 minutes. So I know the video is going to say that, but for those that have not seen the recipe cards, bake it on 350 for 30 minutes, okay? That is your stuffed salmon. We're going to talk about what to do in the 30 minutes. We're going to make our side dish in a minute. So that is everything that it takes to do your stuffed salmon, okay? So we did our stuffed salmon, and how do you guys feel about that? I love veggies. Me too, Deborah. They are good. Fish look heavy. I know. That thing, that thing was stuffed to capacity, but you know, it was for the kingdom. So cheese is life. You know what, Manietta, I agree with you. But I'm just saying, you know, just be mindful of the cheese. So before we go to our last segment, I want to go over some health benefits of the things that you saw that you may not have been familiar with, okay? So we have salmon, of course. It is high protein. It is low calorie. It aids in weight loss. I was pescatarian for 2 years and dropped about 65 pounds. So yeah, I can attest to the power of the salmon to make you drop that fat. It is a heart-healthy food. It is high in vitamin B and omega-3 fatty acids. I just got a question. How long to saute veggies? You want to saute the veggies, Kimberly, until the onions are translucent and the bell peppers are soft to the touch. So once your onions start turning clear, you know everything else is done. If you like them a bit not cooked all the way through, you would stop it before. Is cooking time the same if you use a different sea meat? It depends, Roshandra. If you use lobster, you add about a minute per ounce to cook lobster. It doesn't take that long to cook lobster like it does salmon. Crab legs take me about 7 minutes on top of the stove. I don't bake crab legs, so I don't know that information. Looks delicious. Can I cook it in my fryer? You sure can, Sharon. I don't have any details on how you would cook in the fryer, but I'm sure somebody in the comments right now has done it. So I'm pretty sure it's the equivalent. When I cook stuff in my air fryer that I usually put in the oven, it's the same. So if it's 350 in the oven, it's 350 in my air fryer. I just cut my cooking time in half. So if it's 30 minutes in the oven, I usually do about 10 to 15 in the air fryer to see. I usually can only eat salmon blackened, but I'll try this. Looks delicious. Oh, well, you know what? On me or oh my, I'm sorry. On me. I do not want to mispronounce people's name. But, yeah, blackened salmon is really, really, really good. I didn't want to do that for this because some people, you know, they don't really know about blackened salmon. I'm like, it's burnt. I don't want to eat that. So I wanted to be mindful of people that, you know, haven't seen the deliciousness and the blessedness of a blackened salmon, okay? So those are your health benefits of salmon. Like I said, it's really high in omega-3 fatty acids. So A lot of people ask, well, I hear about omega-3s, I hear about omega-6s. What is the difference? So I did look at the difference of what is an omega-3 versus an omega-6. They are on your screen. With omega-3s, one thing that I thought was really awesome, that it reduces the chance of abnormal heart rhythm, heart attacks, and strokes. For some people that have arrhythmias, I've had an arrhythmia before, big on omega-3 fatty acids, right? Do we cover the salmon? No, you let it just, 350, 30 minutes, do not cover the salmon. Not at all. And then with omega-6 fatty acids, it reduces the risk of heart disease. It gives you a lower amount of the bad cholesterol levels, and it raises the good amount of the cholesterol levels while reducing cancer risk, right? So I just took a little drink of water. So once we take our salmon out, this is what we have, right? I took it out. I looked in the oven, and once I see that it flakes, I put the fork in there so you can see what I'm talking about. You put a fork in your salmon, just a little piece, and once you see it easily flakes up, and there's no running juice out of it, it is good to go. Now, some people like to cook their salmon a little more rare or a little more well done. Totally fine. Like I said, this is what works for us. This is what works for us. But please cook the salmon to your liking. Make sure you like it when it comes out, So that is, again, what it is. That is what it is for the salmon, right? So we're going to go to the last segment of the video. Oh, excuse me. And we're going to talk about the sweet potato, the side dish, and we're going to talk about the plating, and then we're going to go into the last piece of the video. I don't see any other questions. Looks like Janae, my fellow boo is in the comments. She is, holding it down and making sure these questions are being answered with will. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. So we're just going to go to the last segment of the video, right? Let me find it. 1 second. All right. So sauteed sweet potato, kale, onions, and peppers dish. So we got those sweet potatoes from segment 1. They've been cleaned. They've been chopped. They're small. They're dainty. They're seen and not heard. And what we're going to do, you're going to microwave in the microwave. Yes, I said microwave in the microwave for 5 minutes. Don't put any water. Don't do anything. Just put the sweet potatoes in the microwave for 5 minutes, okay? We're going to use some extra olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. We're going to bring back some liquid aminos, and we'll talk about liquid aminos, the nutritional benefits after this segment, okay? So you want to make sure you microwave that. In the meantime, while those sweet potatoes are microwaving to soften for 5 minutes, you want to add 2 capfuls of extra virgin olive oil and about 2 to 3 squizzles, that's squeezes of a bottle for liquid aminos, right? And then while the pan is still warming up, now the pan isn't warm, you can see that. While the pan is still warming up, you want to drop about 2 to 3 handfuls of kale into your skillet, okay? For every sweet potato, it was a handful of kale. You want to drop in the rest of your bell peppers. You want to drop in the rest of your onions. And why I say you want to do this before it gets warm, you want it to kind of soak up that oil, that olive oil, that liquid aminos for seasoning, right? We don't use any salt in this dish either. We're going to add a little bit of onion powder to it. Just sprinkle to the ancestors, say we're good in these streets, right? We want to make sure that we get that. And then we're going to sprinkle some garlic powder in there as well, right? Just cover it all, just a quick little sprinkle, right? So let's see, we got any kind of squizzles. Yes, squizzles. I'm sorry, I just be making up words. So we're going to get our black pepper. We're going to do some, just a little bit of pepper, just a Pepper to your liking. Pepper to taste, as people would say. Even though I ain't never tasted pepper in any of my dishes. It's for color. But anyway, so after we soften the sweet potatoes, they're going to be super hot. Grab an oven mitt, get them out the microwave, toss them in now, what is now the warm, hot wok, right? We want to make sure our wok's on about 5 to 6 medium heat. You don't want it to burn, but you don't want it too low. Then we're going to just mix everything up, and this dish right here, it can be a breakfast dish, it can be a dinner dish, it can be a snack, it can be a meal by itself. Like, we eat this often, and we just kind of do different things with it. So as they're cooking, you want to just kind of toss it around. The vegetables won't take long to cook, which is why we soften those sweet potatoes in the microwave for about 5 minutes. That way you cut your cooking time down. By the time these sweet potato, kale, peppers, onions is done, the salmon's done. And then you can eat and you can celebrate because you're not worrying about, is my sweet potatoes done, right? Olive oil on sweet potatoes. Yes. No, in the microwave? No, Kimberly. Don't put the olive oil, don't put anything on the sweet potatoes in the microwave. You just want them raw and dry, cut, clean, and peel in the microwave for 5 minutes. And you just want to touch them and make sure that they're soft. So that's all you want to do is we just soften them up before we cook them to make sure they cook at the same speed as the vegetables. Good tip for softening sweet potatoes. Yes, Leslie, I'm trying to eat quick when I'm hungry. So we just keep tossing this around, mixing up the vegetables, making sure that nothing's sticking. It's in a wok, so I know some people do fancy tricks with the wok. That ain't what you're gonna get over here. Okay, no, and this is our final dish. When it's done, you know it's done because it doesn't take that long. The sweet potatoes are already done. So that's our final video of what we have. So we've made sweet potatoes, kale, onion, peppers, stuffed salmon. We made all of that. This is our final dish of the sweet potato, kale, onion, peppers. And when I say you can do this dish anyway, I mean you can do this dish anyway. Oh, thanks, Will. You do not need a wok. You can use a cast iron, big pot, anything that you have. We just use a wok because we just like it. It looks cute. It records well. So when I say you can do this dish different ways, you can add sausage to this dish, make it a breakfast dish. You can add sausage and egg to it, or vegan sausage and egg to it, make it a breakfast dish. You can add some savory meat to it, or chicken or something, and make it a dish. You don't even need to have stuffed salmon with this dish because it's so filling. You can just add a protein to it. Yes, I love a colorful dish. And this picture, it's soothing, okay? So we want to talk about the health benefits of extra virgin olive oil. A lot of people know that it protects against heart disease. Extra virgin olive oil is not associated with weight gain or obesity. I mean, I'm not saying chug a bottle every day, but, as it relates to cooking oils, it is very healthy. It has a large amount of antioxidants, and a lot of studies that I saw show that it reduces heart attack, strokes, and death by 30% of people that regularly use and cook with it versus like a canola, a peanut, those oils. So I thought those were very interesting. Right? Then we want to talk about kale. A lot of people don't like kale. I wasn't a huge fan of kale until my friend Janelle made this dish for me. It's anti-inflammatory. It's an immune booster. It's rich in vitamins A, C, and K. As we know, vitamin K is a very heart-centered vitamin in a lot of ways, especially K2. And it's a good source of fiber and iron. Lifesaver for those of us with toddlers who are hungry but then immediately starving. Thanks for the microwave tip. Everything looks amazing. Thanks, Jennifer. Yes, my toddler is, he thinks he runs this house, but he does not, but, he be wilding in these streets. So that's kale. And then we want to talk about the star of segments 2 and 3, which was the liquid aminos. It's a building block of protein, 2 kinds, essential and non-essential. It is naturally gluten-free. There's no chemical preservatives, and it may reduce hunger, and it's very easy to add to your diet. So when I make walnut meat tacos, I don't use salt in it. I use liquid aminos. When I make veggie fried rice or cauliflower fried rice, I use liquid aminos, right? So I just wanted to share those benefits with you guys. That is all I use is extra virgin olive oil. Yes, so yummy. Thank you, Janae. So that's pretty much, the cooking that we have. So if there are no questions, we'll just kind of keep it rolling. I'll keep my eye on the chat, but I want to make sure that you guys see that finish dish. I'm still working on my plating. I'm still growing in my plating. So I wanted you guys to see what we had. So we got on that plate, that's 4 ounces of this stuffed salmon. And then we have about a cup of the sweet potato, kale, onion, pepper mixture. So that's what we had, and we gave it out to 2 people. One of my friends just got married. Shout out to Coco and her husband Ryan. They ate it while they were watching Law and Order SVU or something. So yeah, that is it. That is it for the cooking. We showed you what the final dish looked like. Thank you. Anytime. So I also wanted to show, because a lot of people, they don't come to the cooking show to see me, Will, or anything that I'm cooking. They come to see Willie. Everybody comes to see Willie. Everybody wants to see, the 4-year-old who's going on 44 in his mind that thinks he runs this house. Okay. So there's Willie. He got his shine. Everybody was on camera. So I am going to show the live reaction from Coco and her husband. So I wanted to show that, but her resolution looked a little fuzzy to me, so I do apologize for that. But I did want you, if you're able to hear what she's saying, just to hear somebody who was not in the kitchen, what they had to say.
My husband and I had the opportunity to try the stuffed salmon that Jennifer prepared. It was cooked perfectly, nice and flaky, but still moist. We also had the sauteed sweet potatoes and kale side, and that was so flavorful. I think that might have been our favorite part of the dish itself. Really good, light, but still filling. Very good dish overall.
All right, so that is our live reaction from Coco. She loved the stuffed salmon. I know her and her husband are recently trying to incorporate the pescatarian lifestyle into their diet and find things that they like. So they were really excited to try something different that, they could recreate on their own and kind of make their own twist and all that stuff. So, oh, what a cutie. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, he cute and he know it. And he act like it too. So we're going to end our show before we actually formally close the show. Wonderful cooking show. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I really appreciate it. We want to end with the closing message from Kimberly herself. So here we go.
Once again, we'd like to thank you for joining Eta Upsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated for Pink Goes Red 2021. We trust that you have been encouraged, that your knowledge has been increased, and that you've gained some more information, especially from that delicious meal with Cooking with the Connors, to improve your heart health. Thank you once again, and good night.
All right. So, again, thank you, Kimberly. Thank you to the ladies for, sponsoring this show. We really appreciate hanging out with you guys virtually on this Friday. We want you to meet the production crew, myself, Jennifer Connors. I call myself the head chef and the talent. I need to get a shirt to say I am the talent, okay? And then we got Will. He's our sous prep chef. He does like the bookings and kind of the schedule and cooking and all that. He does our storyboards, and he handles like the technology, make sure it's all set up for me. And then we have Willie. He takes naps and he takes the food when he feels like it. He does not really, he is not about these cooking streets. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share. We would love to hang out with you guys again the next time we cook.